Hello, welcome to Zentangle Explore. My name is Esther Piszczek. I am a certified Zentangle teacher, and this is a class where we explore one Zentangle pattern really, really slowly while breathing and explore it in your way. So if you end up drawing something that looks absolutely nothing like what I draw, then that is absolutely perfect. So what you will need is just a couple pieces of, I have watercolor paper, just little pieces of paper you can hold in the palm of your hand. And watercolor paper works great because then if you want to add watercolor or some other media, watercolor pen, or even just crayons, it's nice and sturdy. But if you just have a piece of copy paper, that is perfect too. You will need a pen. I have a 01 Micron pen. I have I have a graphic one pen today, which is a little thicker, and I have a Sharpie felt tip. But if you just have a ballpoint, that's awesome. That will also work just fine. So you don't need any fancy supplies. You just need your beautiful breath and some time to sit and give yourself permission to draw some lines. So we start out every class with a little breathing to settle ourselves in so we can slow down. So you can get nice and comfortable in your seat, and you can close your eyes if you'd like. I'm going to close mine, and we'll just have a little bit of a brief meditation before we draw. So let's all just call all of our parts back and become 100% present in this space where this class finds you, either here live or on the replay at a later date. Allowing everything that came before to just settle. Perhaps see it floating down to the ground. It's already happened. We need not tangle with it right now. Everything that's coming after this class is just going to wait. It's going to be suspended. Just allow it to be paused. Just hit pause as we come 100% into this space, into this moment, into this experience of breathing and settling, feeling feet on floor if that's where they are, your seat, your bottom on your seat if that's where it is. Resting hands, resting shoulders, resting jaw, resting forehead. And just find your inhale. Hello, little inhale. Welcome to this moment. There's a little rest at the top of the inhale, and then a nice releasing exhale. As we allow and encourage that exchange of oxygen and CO2, a beautiful cycle of breathing. It happens magically whether we think about it or not. Perhaps noticing where you can feel your inhale and your exhale in your body, maybe a little expansion in your chest or back or belly, perhaps a little contraction on the exhale, maybe a little coolness or warmth in your skin. Wherever you feel it, however you feel it, is just perfect. Just notice and witness. What is my breath doing? What is my experience of breathing in this moment? No need to change it. Just allow it to happen. And when you're ready, let's take a big inhale together. And a nice sighing exhale. Ah. Allowing that sound to calm your nervous system. A little vibration, a little massage for your organs. Another big inhale together. And a nice releasing exhale. Oh. Just giving ourselves permission to make sound just because we can, without any purpose except to hear what our voice sounds like. And one last big inhale together. And a nice releasing exhale. Ah. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, knowing that whatever we create together will be perfect just as it is. Okay, so let us draw. I'm going to change my camera. All right, I have a few pieces. These are a little bit bigger pieces today, but a few pieces of watercolor paper. And I have more than one because I may want to start more than one drawing. And so whatever you would like to do is just fine. But I'm gonna actually start on a little bit of a bigger one. And I have a 01 Micron pen, which is a little bit of a fancier pen. I have a Sharpie, which is a felt tip pen you can just find at like an Office Max or an Office Depot supply store. And I have a graphic one. But if you just have a ballpoint off your desk and a piece of copy paper, that is absolutely perfect. So let us begin. We are going to explore this pattern called Taco by Hiromi Itakura. I don't know if I have her name quite right, but you can find that pattern on tanglepatterns.com. And it's a very simple pattern, and there's not a lot of creative black. So we are going to play adding creative black. So just breathing nice and slowly. I'm going to start in the middle of my page. You can start off the end if you would like. And we're just going to draw like a little swirl. You can start this with a little bit of a curved line. I'm going to do a little curve on the end. And this can look like, it doesn't need to look like what mine looks like. This is an exploratory class. You get to explore however you would like to explore. And it has these beautiful little kind of leaf patterns that go side to side. And then it has these little, I would call them hairs, little lines. This is based off of a Japanese decorative pattern called octopus, and it's found on fancy plates and ceramics. Hiromi or even Linda Farmer, I'm not sure which, has a beautiful picture of a plate on the website on tanglepatterns.com. So that's the basic pattern, and that's a very simplified version. The plate pattern by the artist there has a lot of intricate swirls, which makes this look very cool with all those little lines, little perpendicular lines. So I'm going to do a little big of a swirl here so I can show you what that looks like. And this is an exploratory class, so you get to take the basic components of this pattern, which is curved lines, and then these little perpendicular lines that come off of the curved line. And you get to move them and shape them and change them however you like. So, does the line have to be curved? Could it be straight? Could it spiral in as a rectangle or a square or a triangle? Do these little extending lines, these little short little lines, do they have to be just close to the line, or could they extend out into space? Do they have to be all relatively the same height, or could they vary? There isn't a lot of black or darkness or grounding to this pattern. And so I invite you in your exploration to find ways to play with the idea of adding creative black or color. Some ways to do that might be to play with the weighting of the original stem line or the little swirls on the end, the little leaves. These little hairs don't need to be on the top, they can be underneath. They can become solid objects. Draw them more in 3D. Give them width and height. And we can use all of these little lines to really slow down and tune into our breath and just watch them appear. Just allowing any what if question or thought about what if I did this, or maybe I could do that. What if I change it this way? Just give yourself permission to follow that inspiration. This is an exploration, so there's no way to do this wrong. There's only an opportunity to create new options for expressing this pattern. What if the idea of these little lines or attachments is simply an invitation to create a line or an attachment? So perhaps they're not little lines. Maybe the little lines aren't attached to the curved line. Maybe they float above. What if they are orbs or dots? It's often the simplest patterns that have the most opportunity Well, maybe not the most. I mean, every pattern can be explored and changed, but maybe its most surprising opportunity. What if the little extensions come off of both sides? This can be whatever you want it to be. So if you're drawing something that you don't like, then just change it. You have full and complete permission. To make this pattern completely your own. What I love about this way of drawing is, I mean, there's so many things. It's such a permissive process because there's no way to do it wrong. But I'm often super surprised about what comes out of it. And when I'm done drawing, I think, wow, I never would have thought that that would have been, whatever that is, would have been the outcome. Free to turn your tile. And just slowing down and breathing and truly allowing whatever shows up to be exactly what needs to show up. There's a real power to allowing whatever shows up to be okay, to not judging it, to saying, well, that wasn't what I expected, but that doesn't matter. I often find that what I don't expect is often far better than had it turned out the way I thought it should turn out. And when I can open myself up to say, oh, well, this is kind of cool too. What if I do more of that? Then all sorts of exciting things start to appear on the page. But it starts with me being able to say, yes, this unexpected thing has value. It starts with becoming open to receiving the inspiration that comes through while drawing. That little inner voice that says, hey, what if we change this line? What if we do something wild and crazy? we do something that doesn't make any sense to our logical brain, but our little creative brain is saying, oh, that's so exciting. Let's do that. That sounds wild and crazy and unexpected and delicious. Let's see what happens if we allow our pen to follow through, knowing that nothing bad is going to happen. It is literally just ink on the page. Everybody gets out of a Zentangle Explorer class perfectly fine. And so much more fine when we embrace our ability to say yes to anything that shows up. Just tuning into the breath, relaxing grip on that pen, and breathing. Just watching that ink appear on the page. Where there was no ink, your hand moves across the page, touching the pen tip to the paper. A line appears, path appears. And it appears because you said yes to holding a pen and drawing a line. And there's so much value in acknowledging that you are making this choice right now to slow down, to listen to your inner voice. And to acknowledge that you are making the choice about which lines to draw. I am merely creating the opportunity and holding the space and recording this video. But you are the one who's saying yes to your own creativity. You are the one saying yes to giving yourself permission to draw lines that you've never drawn before. And that is so amazing. Every line you draw leads to the next line. And this is less of an art practice and more of a meditative process. And so when we talk about exploring, when I talk about exploring a pattern, there's so many different ways to explore. There's the changing of the pattern, but then there's also the contemplation of how am I drawing the pattern? Where do I start? Do I start with the stem? Maybe I start with a little leaf at the top and then draw the stem and add it. There's all kinds of different ways to approach things. This week I was just sitting at the kitchen table with a newspaper, the comics page in front of me, and I just decided to start drawing with my left hand at the edge of the paper. And of course, it was wonky and weird and felt strange because I'm a right-handed person, which simply means that I am more comfortable holding a pen and drawing with my right hand. But that doesn't mean that my left hand cannot draw lines or hold a pen. It can. And so I drew one section, and it was really kind of crazy looking. And then I decided to draw another section. And I noticed within just that short space of time that my lines had improved, my coordination had improved, my ability to direct where the lines went and what they look like improved. And so no effort is ever wasted. It's so easy to think that, well, I failed at this, or I didn't do that right, or it doesn't look proper, or I need to throw it away. And then to get frustrated thinking, well, I've wasted time. I could have gotten more done if I hadn't done this, that, or the other thing. But every single thing that we do is valuable because we're always constantly learning. Constantly learning new things about our bodies, about our minds, about the world around us, about the world inside of us. And every experience changes that world because it adds new information. We're the ultimate AI. And we can choose to do things the same way habitually, like constantly drawing or writing with our right hand. And that is totally fine. We get really good at doing something when we do it over and over again. But there's a lot of value in challenging our habits and doing new things because we're talking AI, it changes the algorithm when we do that, changes the set of rules that we're operating on. And then when we change that set of rules from what we've habitually done, then new information comes up just naturally. And what's fascinating about it is that we only need to change one simple little thing. You don't have to learn to speak Russian. You don't have to graduate from the gymnastics academy. You don't have to do any big, crazy thing. We just change one baby little thing from what we've always done. And then new things start to appear. It's quite magical. And when we give ourselves permission and we gather up the courage to do something new, and we start seeing new things appear, then we can make different choices. Based on that new information. All of us have been doing this our entire life. Children are constantly changing the way they do things so that they can learn new things. As adults, we tend to get caught up in our habitual patterns and we feel safe doing the same things over and over again. And so it's nice to be reminded that we're the ones choosing. Habits seem like things have to go a certain way because that's the way they've always gone. But that is just something that we tell ourselves to feel safe in the doing. And we forget that we're actually making choices, that we are the ones choosing. And when we remind ourselves of that, oh my goodness, so many choices begin to appear. And this practice of drawing, making choices on the page, is a really wonderful, safe, beautiful way to practice making choices in life. Because it takes courage to draw new lines on the page. To not know what's going to show up. To say yes and to embrace the challenge. To give yourself permission to spend time with a pen and your breath. When there's so many other things in your world that are calling for your attention. Life is full of unexpected learning opportunities. And when we can curate those learning opportunities, like spending time drawing lines, we can get used to the obstacles that appear in life. And we start to realize that we're the ones who are drawing the lines of our life. We are the ones creating a storyline. And it's so empowering when we realize that we are powerful beings. It seems like the government and the politicians and our parents and all these other forces are the ones that are creating our reality. The truth is, we have far more power to create our everyday experience than we know. And this simple practice, drawing lines on the page, reminds us, at least it reminds me, that I am making choices, and those choices are valuable, and they have the power to change my experience. And that is amazing. And it can all start from just practicing drawing. When something shows up that you did not expect and you maybe don't even like, you can say, "Welcome. Welcome to the page. I don't know where you came from. I never would have consciously drawn you or invited you onto my page. But now that you're here, let's see what you have to share with me. What wants to come next now that you are here?" This is based on an octopus type pattern, those little lines, but now that I'm drawing little orbs, it's absolutely reminding me of an octopus. It's quite delightful. That's the other thing about exploring is that it may not, the original pattern may not be something that I really love, but when I explore it, then I can find something that I'm like, wow, well, that's really fun. And that's the whole point, is what is it that lights you up? Is it that you like to draw? What do you like to create in your life and on the page? And it's going to change from day to day. It may change hour to hour. But when we say yes to that and say, wow, this is bringing me joy. And then you have a choice to say, well, the dishes have to get done. I can't waste any more time on this. Or you can say, the dishes are just going to sit there. And when I'm ready to do them, they will get done. But right now, this is bringing me joy. So I'm going to choose to do more of this. It doesn't have to be a long time. It can be 5 minutes. To even sit for 5 minutes with your pen and page can change everything about how the rest of your day unfolds. Just breathing and settling. And exploring with your pen. Just because you can. And it would be a fascinating exercise to take this pattern or any pattern. There's lots of patterns on tanglepatterns.com. There's patterns on curtains and rugs and clothing. You can take any one of those patterns. Just decide to explore it in a journal or on little pieces of paper like this for a week. Every day, spend 3 to 5 minutes. Say, what does this pattern want to say to me today? Let's see what shows up. Okay, so time went so fast today. Here are my explorations. They're very different from beginning till end. I love that. Thank you so much for drawing with me. This was very fun. And I hope that you keep drawing with this pattern or some other pattern and give yourself permission to explore wildly, both on the page and in your life. So if you would like to donate to these classes, you can do so at Eternal Possibility. At paypal.me/Eternal Possibility. You can find my work at eternalpossibility.com. And I hope that you keep drawing.